Good morning. How's everyone doing? Oh, it's a good Saturday. It's a good Saturday. So much so, I clicked that live button early. Early for you all. Let's crank it up. Let's crank it up. Good morning. The championship weekend is here. Oh yes. Buckle in. FP3 ahead of us. Damn, that music ended early. Oh, hang on. Next tune. Next tune. Where's the next tune? A bit of like Stranger Things type music. Woo! Hope you're ready. Let's go. FP3 ahead of us. Qualifying this afternoon. And then, of course, the big one tomorrow. The big one tomorrow. Ooh, okay, we can turn it down now. That's my hype moment. It sounded loud, and it sounded loud in my ears. I don't know how it sounded in your ears. Well, welcome everyone. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. My predictions. We'll get onto my predictions soon. Not yet. Need my coffee first. You think if Max wins the title, there'll be world peace? Oof. I don't know if Max winning another title would bring that, but. Yeah. But it'd be a lot more carnage, to be honest with you, with obviously the throwaway. I can see the media headlines now. McLaren threw it away again. So, really, Cara, it's depressing in the UK today. I mean, while it's a bit chilly, it's nice, bright blue skies outside, sunny. Can't complain. Can't complain. Man, you do an academic comeback if Max wins. If Lando wins, it'll be World War 3. Well, we had 2021 and there still wasn't World War 3 after that. But look, people hate a new champion. They always do. And, yeah, part of me would like to see Lando win to just put all those haters back in their place. Because I do think, I said it before, he gets a lot of unnecessary hate. Hello. But they're all worthy of being a champion. And anyone who says otherwise is just incorrect. Right, don't you go pressing any buttons. Daddy's streaming right now. Yes, he is. Come on, say hello to everyone. Well, Mummy's busy. Getting ready. Whee! Little bows in your hair. There we go. Oh, all she cares about is the steering wheel. You need Lando to win because your football team is arse. I know how that feels, being a West Ham fan. So, it might be McLaren's last chance for a driver's title. Exactly. It could be, well, you can't, I'd suspect it's not Verstappen's last chance of a driver's title because he's going to go to the top team. If Red Bull was shocking, he's going to go somewhere else, isn't he? So. Hey, Anne. Doing very well, thank you. Yeah, it's doing very well. Too great. You're wearing colour glasses, too grey outside. Everything looks like that Narcos TV show. You've got a real life filter on. You support Man U? Oh, God, yeah. Well, 1-1 draw the other day. Okay, you're too fidgety now, aren't you? Say bye-bye, everyone. West Ham see me in the Championship next season, Vicky. I know. Let's not talk about it. I still think we'll survive. But it's going to be close. You think the driver of the day should go to Kimi or Yuki since the recent news? No, I think driver of the day should go to someone who actually deserves it. But I mean, not to say that Yuki will deserve it if he puts in a good performance. So, am I going to stream quali? Of course I am. I'm not live all the way from now until quali. I will go and have a break and have some lunch in between, get some fresh air. Because otherwise I'll just be stuck indoors all day. And it is a nice day here in the UK for once, which is a rarity to say in December. But yeah, I will be live for qualifying. There is a separate stream. Once I decide to end this stream, whenever that may be, it will send you straight over to the quali stream. So you don't have to do anything. Just stay around to the end. Or if you do want to leave early, of course, just be sure to turn that notification bell on. Hit that so you get notified half an hour before the stream goes live. Or the stream is already set up and you can set it up in a separate browser. Do I like the idea of Cadillac? I'm assuming that's probably a spell check there. Cadillac? Do I like the idea of Cadillac? I do. How old am I, Vicky? 34. I know, I don't look it. Don't look it. Sometimes I look it. I must admit, I don't feel it. Qualifying, I will start. I'm going to go live an hour before qualifying because that's what I've got to set it up to. Normally, I only go live 15 minutes before, but it's a special weekend, isn't it? It's a special weekend. We have a championship literally on the line to be decided here. I know, Mila. Oh, it's here. She's taking it off. She's excited as well, just as much as I am. Yeah. We'll be live an hour before, so that we can take everything in the lead up to qualifying, and then the race tomorrow. I'm going to be live an hour and a half before we go, before the race begins, because it's a special weekend. No DRS for 2026. Yeah, I don't look a day above 26. Oh, I like you. I like you. Just saying, nothing against Lando. If Lando DNF in the first lap and Oscar and Max fight it out like 2021, Lewis and Max. Look, 2021 is never going to happen again, but with what's happened with McLaren the last two race weekends, anything is possible because it's not just the pressure on the drivers, it's also going to be extra pressure now on the team. So the team haven't helped themselves by what has happened the last two race weekends, not just from, obviously, a points perspective and ensuring that this championship goes down to the last race and bringing Max back into it, but they've put extra pressure on themselves when it comes to the pit stops now, when it comes to the strategy decisions. Like, it's the team as a whole now that is massively under pressure. Because I don't think anyone, like, let's be real, even if you're not a Lando fan, right? I don't think many people at all don't believe Lando will get this done out on track, right? I think most people will probably admit, yeah, do you know what? Lando, even with the pressure, I can't see him not getting a podium. But it's McLaren. No one really has faith in. And rightfully so, because they've done that in the last couple of race weekends. So, yeah. It's the first time since 2010. It is indeed, yes. And I said yesterday, if you're an Oscar Piastri fan, this bodes well for you. The last couple of times we have had 3 drivers go into the last race of the season in contention of the Drivers' Championship, 2007 and 2010. The third place driver coming into that race weekend, Kimi Räikkönen in 2007 and Sebastian Vettel in 2010, both ended up winning the Drivers' Championship. Oscar Piastri, third place, 16 points behind. Will he make it 3 for 3 for that statistic? He very well could do, but he'll need some assistance. Dipsy, can you see them asking Lando to drop from 4th to 5th to 6th if Oscar is in 1st? No. No, because Lando still only needs a podium to win the championship. I guess it depends on the scenario of how far ahead. I guess it really depends on how far ahead. So if Oscar is in the lead, Let's have a look, actually. I don't know what the permutations are for him winning. Oscar. Where does he need... Does he need Lando to finish 6th, or is it Lando to finish 8th? I thought it was quite dramatic. This is what I've got here. Let's show you. I'm doing very well, thank you, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. So these are the permutations for this weekend. And, well... Oh, Jesus, hang on. So it is, yeah. So if Lando finishes P6... If Oscar wins and Lando finishes P6, Oscar wins the championship. If he finishes P2, then Lando's P10. So I guess it depends on the scenario. So if Lando is 4th, you've got to... I would presume that if... I don't see really a scenario where Lando is 4th and not on the back of P3. So I don't... Unless Lando is really unable to get past George in... You expect it's George in P3, whoever it may be. Whoever it is ahead in the closing stages of the race, I don't see them asking Lando to drop back from P4 to P6. They may do, but it'd be a very, very late call. It'd be a very late call. But would Lando... So if Lando finished P6, he wouldn't... Yeah, so Oscar... So if Lando finished P4, though, and Max wasn't to win, so what's that? Would Lando still win the championship, though? That's the thing. Because if Max is outside the top 3... Because Lando would win the championship there, so he's not going to drop back, is he? Because Max wouldn't win the championship. Because where's that? Lando. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's it. It's in Lando's hands, ultimately, yeah. He needs to just finish on the podium. But so many scenarios, but I think Lando's everything. The only chance for him to lose is DNF or disqualification. Yeah, I think that's really the case. Last 5 laps, Colapinto safety car. You never know. You never know. There could be mechanical failures. We've seen a lot of mechanical failures here in the last race of the season. I mean, could Yuki call something? Look, I'm not saying Crashgate is going to happen, but I mean, Yuki is technically not in F1 next year. He's not on the grid. Little Hail Mary when it comes to a move that's not particularly on. Sends it from an absolute mile back into turn 6. Takes a random Alpine out. And brings out a late safety car in 10 laps remaining. I'm just saying. Don't rule it out. They've also got 2 V-carbs who could be utilised as well. While they say they're not. Like, they are the only team on the grid who has a junior team. So... I'm just saying, if it happens, if Yuki go... Right, you've heard it here first, right? You've heard it here first. If he does send it from an absolute mile back, and that sort of move is made, and it does bring out a safety car in the closing stages of the race, I am going to be 100% suspect about it. 100% suspect about it. How can you not? It's too convenient. Normally, the simple answer is the most is the answer. So, but don't forget the race start is going to be interesting because what would you prefer if you're Max Verstappen? Do you actually want pole position, or do you want P2 and Lando ahead of you? Because if you're P2, yes, you start on technically the dirtier side of the track, but you're starting on the inside line. You can force Lando out wide if you get a good start. you can make sure you get ahead and literally use the ahead at the apex rule to your advantage to push Lando out wide so that hopefully he loses positions behind. Like cars come up on the inside. I feel like a Max Verstappen P2 in qualifying is best. So, voice without permission. Why do I have background music? Because it fills the silence. And it's chill. It's nice and calming. Something we've always had here. The chances of Lando losing are low. Yeah. The other 17 drivers will affect the championship somehow, potentially. Cleaner surface is always better. It is. But when the championship isn't necessarily in your control, and you need Lando to finish outside the top 3, you need something. You need to try and do something that is going to cause him to lose positions. Otherwise, I think most people are expecting McLaren to easily be on the podium here this weekend. So. McLaren need a front row lockout. They do, yeah. What did Kimi the Iceman say about this very track many years ago? Oh, I can't remember what he said. So do I think Max qualifies P2, he'll pull a Qatar? Maybe. I mean, look. I just think that because the inside line is P2, heading down into that first corner, like, if he starts P1, yes, he'll probably hold on to P1, but then where's Lando going to end up? Lando's more likely going to just slot in behind him. He could even get ahead of him. And we know that the inside car has all of the power with this ahead at the apex rule. So, for Max, he's the best at that. So, I think he'd probably want to qualify P2. If Lando, of course, qualifies P1. That is a big if. I say it's a big if. Looking on the form at the moment, it does look like Lando is favourite for pole position. But, yeah, we'll see. Whereas if he's on the outside, Max isn't going to be able to have that advantage of pushing Lando out wide. So, at least give us something to debate. I'm sure there'll be something to debate. Look, if you've watched this season enough this year, you would know there's going to be something to debate. Let's be real. I don't see how there won't be. Just need sectors up. Move that over to the side so we can have a look at those throughout the session. Risk of rain, 0%, guys. 0% risk of rain. Who do I want to win the championship? Out of all 3 of them, Norris. I don't have stock. I'm not really a supporter of any of them. As I said, I probably prefer Norris a bit more because, yes, he's British. I always support the Brits first. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to like him. But I think the main reason why is because, as I've said before, I think he's got an unnecessary amount of hate online. While I don't participate in really tweeting and things like that, I just feel like every social media platform that I go onto, he has got an unnecessary amount of hate. And I just feel like it would just be 2 fingers up to all those haters, and I'm looking forward to seeing the potential crash out of those if he does win it. But I won't be upset to see Verstappen win it. I've said this before as well. I'm not Max Verstappen's biggest fan. However, I have no issue with him winning titles, world titles and stuff like that. Like, I massively respect him as a driver. And at the end of the day, all I've ever wanted from F1 is drivers to fight it out for championships. I don't ever, even as a Lewis Hamilton fan, I don't ever really want to see a driver just dominate from start to finish in a season or in a race. I want, in an ideal world, every race to be hard fought for and every championship to be hard fought for. And that's exactly what we've got here. So, yeah. And if Piastri wins it, I do like Piastri as well. I've crashed into Piastri on iRacing. So I have a little personal connection with Oscar Piastri. And I think he'd be a great world champion as well. I think they'll all be good world champions for all their own reasons. So, but as I said before, the only driver I'm an actual fan of is Hamilton. Norris is the new Max Verstappen. I don't think he's a new Max Verstappen, no, but I think there's definitely similarities. Look, people hate to see new world champions, and of course, with the popularity, while obviously the popularity of F1 and it kicking off with Drive to Survive and so forth is a good thing, it's also kind of a bad thing because it's brought in a lot of toxicity in the age of social media. Every driver, unfortunately, has a set of fans who are toxic, and they're very emotional, and they go on the attack. We've seen that from all drivers. Like you could see next year a championship battle between Esteban Ocon and Nico Hulkenberg, and there'll be those two sets of fans. There'll be a pocket of those two sets of fans, which unfortunately are the loudest, who will just be at each other's throats all season. That's F1 now these days, unfortunately. So, am I going to the Christmas party? Which, Karim, you need to change. I keep forgetting. It's only the KJ that I notice. I am, mate. Are you there? Are you going to it? Max is the best driver out there. He deserves to win. I agree. He's been the best driver out there this year. Whether he deserves to win or not, I mean, that's up for everyone's kind of interpretation and opinion. I think they all have their own right for winning. Max this year has been brought back into the championship due to McLaren's failures, and I think that's why he's so kind of calm about it, because there's only so much that he knows he can do, and that he's fortunate to be in this position this year. And as he said before, he's already got 4. So he was very calm in the interviews, wasn't he? He was like, I've achieved everything that I've wanted to achieve in F1, and everything from now on is a bonus. And I think this year as well, it's like he knows he shouldn't be in this position right now. But that's the nature of sport. Sometimes you just need to stay in it. You need to just stay in the match, stay in the competition, and others may gift it to you for your consistency. So, who could be in contention for next season's championship? I don't know. How long's a piece of string? Honestly, next year it's going to be an interesting one to tune in for. My pleasure, Tattoo. Hey, Deb, you all right? This has been Max's best season, in your opinion, outdriven that car at every opportunity. I still think last year is his best season. I think he's done very well this year, but I think there's still been a number of low moments for Max. Last year, I think he truly got the best out of that car, and for the majority of the season, it wasn't the best, and he saw that championship to the end. So I still think even if he wins this one, said it yesterday, he will win. If he wins this championship, he will. Last year's one, 2024, in my opinion, will still be his best one. Thank you, Gora. Everyone needs to realise how consistent Stroll is in the rain. He thrives in the worst conditions. Yeah, no, it's true. Stroll is good in the rain, but there's no rain here this weekend. So, why are people saying that Kimi let Lando pass in the final laps of Qatar? Because it was all due to a misinterpretation. GP on the radio thought from the images that were shown on screen, and probably on the track map as well, that Kimi had just let Lando pass because of the Mercedes connection. McLaren supply Mercedes engines and gearboxes to McLaren. And they were probably instantly thinking, a customer team. They've let their customer team through. But that wasn't the case. Kimi did actually have a snap of oversteer with his tyres falling off and pushing to try and hold off Lando. And because of GP's comment, people jumped onto Kimi saying, why have you let him past? And went on the attack on his social media. He had thousands of comments. Helmut Marko also doubled down after the race as well, saying that, he let him past. And then it was evident from replays that no, Kimi didn't let him past. He had his own big moment, snap of oversteer, did well to catch it, and Lando capitalised on it and went past him. And unfortunately, as we've just touched upon with the toxicity of social media and how, on one hand, fans are very passionate, but there's a line and too many cross it too often, unfortunately, now these days. They just went straight to social media and messaged him. And with some very unsavoury comments. So much so that, yeah, FIA came out with a post condemning it. Red Bull condemned it as well. However, they didn't actually apologise for their comments. They still didn't admit fault that their comment, like, sorry, Kimi, but this was brought onto you because of our comments. But yeah, everyone was in unison because of that. So, and apparently Max also, Max apparently reports are that he went and spoke to Red Bull and said, you need to put out an apology to Kimi. They didn't actually apologise, bearing in mind, but he told them you need to apologise. And you need to put out a statement condemning this. Because Kimi and Max are close, aren't they? You don't like Australia as a starter for the F1 season? It's kind of like tradition for me here in the UK for the season to start in Australia. So I don't mind that, getting up early in the morning for the first race of the season. I've been doing that for years. It's only recently, last 5 years or so, however long it's been, that the first race of the season has been switched to Bahrain. But I do agree. Melbourne Park, unfortunately, it's not a great track for racing. It's not. If you have to add 4 DRS zones to a racetrack, yeah, there's a fundamental flaw with that track, you know. But next season, anything can happen. Obviously, with the new regs, who knows? Hopefully, the racing is a lot more interesting. So, what's my least favourite track? Many are thinking it'd be Monaco, but it's not. My least favourite track, actually, I think is Mexico. I really don't like Mexico. I think it's just, people obviously go on about the atmosphere, but I think that track doesn't actually provide good racing at all every single year that we've been there. This year was more so because of the incidents and the cutting of the corners and the controversy of like penalties, but the actual wheel-to-wheel racing there and the racing itself is always boring, and the result is always, like, the actual race, the way it unfolds, is also quite boring as well. So, what else? What else do I not like on the calendar? I need to remind myself what's on the calendar, you know. 30 seconds, guys, by the way, until FP3 gets underway. So we've got Australia, China, Japan, Bahrain, Saudi, Belgium, Hungary, Zandvoort, Azerbaijan, Singapore. Oh, you know what I'd like to not be on this calendar? Do you know what was probably my least favourite track? This one. I don't like this one. I really, and maybe it's because I've been watching F1 for many a year, and I'm a bit sour about Interlagos not being the finale, and us being spoilt with such great finales at Interlagos. But I don't like this track. There is not a race in my mind that I can remember from a finale here. There are two moments, and they're moments. The actual races themselves were boring, but there's 2 moments that I remember from Abu Dhabi, it being on the since it's been on the calendar. Of course, the end of 2021, and that's a moment because, let's be real, the whole race was boring. It was. Lewis was winning by 20 odd seconds or whatever it was, like ridiculous lead at the time. But the race itself was boring. And then 2016, where Lewis backed up Nico Rosberg. That's it. And then maybe 2010, because Fernando Alonso struggled to get past the Renault in 30 plus laps. So the races here are always lackluster. There have been 2 moments, in my opinion, that come to my mind. Maybe the third one because of 2010. But the racing here itself, even with the changes into Turn 9 and Turn 5, just aren't that good, really. So, instead of Abu Dhabi and Brazil, what else would be a good season ender? Let's have a look at the calendar, shall we? Bahrain. You could flip Bahrain from the start of the season to the end of the season. That would be a good That would be a good season ender because we always get lots of overtakes at Bahrain due to the high abrasiveness of the circuit, due to it being very... because of the double DRS and how the first and second sector operates, or the first sector in particular operates up the run to turn 5, it's great for racing, and that would be a brilliant last track. That'd be a great finale. I think I would prefer, if Abu Dhabi's to stay on the calendar, I'd actually prefer Abu Dhabi to be at the start of the season and then have Bahrain at the end of the season. Because the thing is, even as well, the problem with Abu Dhabi is that the strategy is boring. It's always pretty much a one-stop strategy here. So you get to the end of the season where cars have massively developed. And then they end up just... the performance is so close that there's no way to really offset in relation to strategies and tyre advantage. So when it comes... switching Bahrain and Abu Dhabi around... because of the differences in performance at the start of the season, you would probably have a better race if Abu Dhabi was at the start of the year and more overtaking. And Bahrain would still be a good race circuit at the end of the calendar year because of the high abrasiveness of the circuit, because of how possible it is to overtake, because of just the nature of the circuit itself, and the difference in tyre compounds that need to use. It's always pretty much a two-stop race there. So we saw earlier on this year, at one point, I think it was in the closing stages, where the field was split across soft tyres, medium tyres, and hard tyres. It was great to see, and it provided us with such good racing. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I'd switch those two around. What about the Indian GP? I wouldn't be too... I mean, that racetrack, I'm not going to lie to you, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember it too much. So... I think it was a good race circuit, from what I remember. I can't remember the actual races that we had there, though. So. Stroll about to go fastest, yeah. Stroll's the only one out there at the moment. Alonso, looks like they're going out there and doing their usual thing of scrubbing off a set of tyres. Thank you, by the way, crew team. Much appreciated. Yeah, guys, if you've been enjoying these streams, if you've enjoyed this season... hit that like and subscribe button. It's been an amazing year for this channel. I've enjoyed bringing you every single session that I've been able to. I've only missed one qualifying session this year, which was, of course, for my daughter's first birthday. But I've made every single race. I've made every session that I possibly can, and we'll be doing the same next year. And if you want to ensure that I never miss a session again, because I still do have a day job, I still have a job that I rely on to pay the bills. This isn't my full-time job yet, guys. Hit the subscribe button and hit that like button, because every single like and subscribe button brings me closer to making this full-time and bringing you more and more content, which I'd love to be able to do for you guys. Thank you, by the way, guys. 50k plus viewers tomorrow. I mean, look, it'd be absolutely amazing if we can. But last weekend, if you told me at the start of the year that I would have a stream where I'd have over 40, well, I'd have, not over, because we got 40. If I had 40,000 viewers, I would have gone, behave. And also would have snapped your hand off for that. So, look, it's going to be a great end to the season tomorrow. And for everyone that tunes in, and everyone who has followed the channel this year, or if you haven't followed the channel and you've been tuning in regardless, I appreciate it. It's going to be a great end to the season. I'm not going to tell you how much I make, Scythe, but it's a nice amount of pocket money. But put it this way, it's a considerable margin away from being able to pay a mortgage, pay the bills, support a family on. So, because my only revenue at the moment is through YouTube is just AdSense. So, that's the target of mine in the coming months in the off season, is to try and capitalize on what we've built here. So. Exactly, Pro. My target at the start of the year, I always have personal targets, but they're a bit out of your control because they rely on you guys. But a little personal target of mine was to double my subscriber count from the start of the year, which we've done. So yeah, tick. Wanted to ask if it was awkward at work with them knowing that you want to do this full time. No, not at all. No, they all know I want to do this full time. A lot of them tune in as well. But yeah, no, they know it's my passion. They all have passions as well that they would love to be able to do full time. I mean, a lot of them love golf and are good golfers, and they would love nothing more than to be able to be a full time golfer. But yeah, wouldn't pay the bills just like this. But we are on that way. So yeah, but the thing is, until that day comes, I just, as I said, like I'm very realistic with what we do here. As we have Colapinto and Gasly out on a set of softs now, which is good. Some cars back on track. I'm very realistic of what I do here and my time as well, my time management, and that's why I try not to put too much stress on myself in maybe not being able to get as much content out as other channels who obviously have more time available. See in a bit. So yeah, that's it. And slow motion's better than no motion. And the channel is growing and heading in the right direction. So that eventuality of this becoming a full-time career one day I should get there. So yeah, and the main important thing is that I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy chatting to you guys. I really do look forward to the weekends when F1 is on. Not that I don't enjoy my weekends when F1 isn't on as well, doing other things away from the live streams, but I really do. When there's an F1 weekend on, I love it. I'm really looking forward to clicking that live button and bringing you these streams because I'm passionate about F1 and passionate about this and chatting to you guys. So, and I think as well, like on YouTube, is that you follow Pete. Everyone has their own channels that they follow away from F1 and so forth. And I think the channels that you follow, a lot of them you'll probably follow because they're passionate about what they do. Who's the guy? Is it Outdoor Boys Living? I think is a perfect example. He has millions of subscribers because he's just passionate about what he does with the outside living, outside camping and so forth. And some people aren't even interested in that. Yet you follow them because it's infectious. So my thumbnail looks kind of cheap. My thumbnail is simple and effective. It doesn't need to be more than what it is. Do I work on my commentary style? I do. I have done over the years. Yeah, I feel like it's in a good place right now, but I'm always looking to improve. I always listen, like when I'm in... it's not vain, but when I am in work on the Monday, I do listen back to my race live stream because I'm like, okay, where I want to listen to myself and see how it came across. Was I happy with it? Is there somewhere that I can improve on my commentary? Because I have my own high standards. So the first person that I have to please is myself. And there are some things that I've noticed myself saying too often that I've tried to cut out and be a bit more, cut out the ums and things like that. So yeah. If you're not reviewing your kind of content, especially like whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever type of form it is, if you don't sit down and actually sit back and review your content, and I don't think you're not doing the content creator type thing correctly. Like you need to sit back and see where you can actually improve. Sorry, we had a membership, by the way. Rizza, thank you for joining the pit crew. Much appreciated. Hope everyone's enjoying this just chill stream at the moment because we've only got the Alpines out on track. So there's not really much. With 10 minutes going, there's not really too much to discuss. So that's why we're chatting about YouTube and commentary and stuff. If you're just tuning in. Thank you for the 40. Is that Dirham? Thank you for the 40. I think that's Dirham. Bro, love from India. Visit here someday. Maybe in the future. Thank you, Asunya. Much appreciated. Love when I say wobble. Unknown. Was it hard to start doing F1 commentary? Do you think it is hard to start for other passionate in F1? No, I mean, I didn't plan on doing this. So I just kind of fell into it. Funny enough, I have the watch-alongs. You have Mrs. Stuffeyy to thank for these. She said, why don't you do watch-alongs? And I was like, you know what? I have kind of thought about doing it, but not really, like, done it. And she was like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I was like, okay. And I don't know, my first time that I went live, I just fell into kind of doing this style. It's rupees. It's rupees. There we go. Apologies. My currency, my worldwide currency isn't anything outside dollar, euro, and pounds. I'm very ignorant on, so apologies. But thank you for the 100 rupees, Rizav. So yeah, it's different. I mean, I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy watching F1 this way. But yeah, I kind of fell into the F1 commentary thing. And look, it's not for everyone. It isn't for everyone. I do think you need a quick mind. You need a quick brain, especially when you're doing it like this, because I'm not commentating on live images. So I'm commentating on, obviously, the track map. My eyes are forever darting from the live data, the intervals, the track map. So you're having to try and process a lot of data in a very short amount of time. And it's not for everyone. It isn't for everyone. But everyone has different styles. Not everyone wants to watch this sort of content. They might want to watch just someone who's maybe just chilling a bit more. You know, that's the beauty of YouTube, is that there's so many different ways of doing it. But this works for me. And a lot of you guys seem to enjoy it. So that's why I keep doing it. Next couple of weeks in between seasons is going to feel long. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're going to go live. We're still going to do some off-season content. We're going to do some awards / season review thing. Highly suggest you follow the Missed Apex podcast as well. They'll be doing content in the off-season. I'll be on the Missed Apex podcast as well. And then, I mean, it will be very quickly, once Christmas is over and done with, it'll be very quickly full steam ahead into 2026. And there's going to be a lot of... We'll go live a lot of times. I'll do videos, but I think live and kind of having a back and forth and having the interaction is important. And you can also obviously watch the live streams back on YouTube, which is great. To discuss and look forward to 2026, dig into the technical side of things, obviously predictions are always fun. And yeah, there's going to be lots of news stories heading into the new season next year. It'll be fast upon us. Once Christmas is out of the way and done with, a new year, and everyone's finished celebrating, of course, if you celebrate, then yeah, January, it's only 6 weeks until the first practice session in Bahrain in the middle of February. So Lando Norris, fastest in the first sector. So we have a couple of cars out on track now. Lando's out on track. Charles, Ocon. How long have I been an F1 fan? Since I was 5, I think. 5 or 6. I remember my mum taking me around my nan and granddad's, and I remember my granddad having the TV coverage on, I think it was Damon Hill. I vividly remember seeing Damon Hill. I can't tell you what my first race was. I really can't. But I remember hearing Murray Walker's voice. I remember watching Damon Hill. That's kind of like my first memory of F1. The first season I kind of remember watching was when Mika Hakkinen won his first world title. So, get a coffee. Thank you for the 100 rupees as well. Much appreciated. Thank you. Some people think F1 is completely rigged. Any comments on that? So I don't think it's rigged. No, I think it is a difficult sport to rig. I do think certain decisions have lent more towards favouring another driver. So I do think, as an example, the last one I can think of is 2021. I know people will be going, "Oh, you're bringing it back up," but the reason why that scenario happened the way that it did is because there was look at it from a business perspective, right? I'm trying to give take away obviously whether you're a Max or Hamilton fan, but have a look at it from Liberty Media's perspective. You've got, like, there's been a massive uptick in Formula One because of Drive to Survive over the last 3 years. At that point, I think there've been 3 seasons until 2021. So you've got a massive uptick in viewership already. And then this peak viewership, like this massive uptick that you've got, has culminated in you having 2 drivers. One who's arguably the greatest of all time, statistically the greatest of all time, Lewis Hamilton. And then you've got an up-and-coming driver, Max Verstappen, who has a massive fan base, who excites fans, and is going for his first world title. You've got someone going for history, and you've got someone going for their first world title, who people believe, yes, could be the successor of Lewis Hamilton. And I mean, look at him now. Many consider him to be a GOAT. So this was an event that was watched across the world. There were people that I saw on my social media who had no interest in F1, were messaging about it. Not messaging me, but were talking about it on their social media. So from a business perspective, they wanted this last race to be, ideally, as exciting as possible. And what happened is that the race, as Abu Dhabi always does, started to fizzle out. It started to fizzle out. And the crash with Latifi and Schumacher, that was just racing. That's just racing. That's just the way it is. I mean, anyone who's watched Latifi would know that okay, that's a typical kind of probably Latifi thing to do. But then how it was managed beyond that was Liberty Media would not have wanted this season to end under a safety car while the whole world was watching. Now, many F1 fans would realise that sometimes that's the rules. That's how F1 happens, even if it is the finale. But that would have been a massive disappointment to the millions and millions of people that were watching around the world who don't normally tune into F1, but they tuned in for this specific event because of the enormity of it. And that's not good for business if it ends under a safety car, because it could affect viewership next season. You're going to lose potential viewership. So it made sense for it to finish under a green flag. And this is, of course, why people are so intrigued to hear Michael Massey's side of the story, because what pressure was he under? What outside influence did he have to get this race back underway again and end under green flags so that it was a last lap shootout? But from a business perspective, that was bloody brilliant. It was bloody brilliant. But I think for the most part, it probably backfired on them. But yeah, that's what they were thinking in that moment in time. And that's kind of the last thing that I think. So really, there are moments that I think can be tweaked, probably, for the entertainment factor of F1. That's why we've got sprint races now. That's why they don't want any race to end under safety car and so forth. And it's kind of the American model, isn't it, with like NASCAR and stuff. Oh, Riz, thank you for the 5 gifted, by the way, much appreciated. So I do think that yes, there are ways to tweak it for an entertainment perspective. You could rig it if you wanted to. I think F1 could 100% be rigged if you wanted to do it, but I don't think it is. So sorry if that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah. So you have to look at it from like business perspective. Ultimately, F1 is a business. That's why Liberty Media have it. They don't do it for the love of F1. They own F1 because it's a business and it makes them a shed ton of money. So they want that product to be... Ideally, Liberty Media, and as F1 fans as well, I think we would love it as well, but we know we don't live in an ideal world. But F1 want to make every single race that they have exciting. They want every single race to have a battle for the race win, even if that means artificially. And some of the all we have to do is look at some of the suggestions that Stefano Domenicali has put out there this year into the ether, testing the waters of the fan base to try and maybe make F1 more exciting in the future. Because they don't want, as a business, they don't want any single race weekend or any single session. That's why they're talking about getting rid of practices, because they're boring. They don't want any single... they want to maximize their product, basically. That's what they want to do. And by having a boring race, by having a boring session, they're not maximizing their product. So that's how you have to look at it from kind of like a business perspective. So, but as F1 fans and as sports fans, we all know that not every single race, not every single session, not every single football match, tennis match, whatever it is going to be, like one to remember. Sometimes you have a 0-0 draw. Sometimes you have a draw. You know, sometimes there's a win that is a boring win, and that's just sport. Jarvis, throughout this entire year of watching you, your commentary has been amazing. Always love catching a stream. Look forward to next year. Thank you, Jarvis. And welcome for thank you for resubbing. So, If I could describe this season in one word, what would it be? It's going to be one word because I'm going to hyphenate it. Papaya rules. Hyphenated papaya rules. That's this season in one word. Bottling, maybe, yeah. So, this new generation of F1's fans will take whatever slot you give them. They spend more time in fan zone stage than watch the cars on track. I mean, look, attending races themselves is a very different experience than it is to enjoying the sport at home. It is one of those sports where it is better to view it from home. You don't have to be there because you can't sit there and watch the whole track unless you're in a helicopter up in the air. You can't see every single corner, every single moment. So, yeah, it's a very different sport. I mean, obviously, I've never attended an F1 race. Maybe next year will be the first. But even then, I'm not that bothered about attending a race. I would just like to see... I'd actually just like to go on the Friday and see these cars go out on track and witness F1 cars out on track. That would make me happy. I don't need to be there on the Sunday. You know, that's not... One, it means I wouldn't be able to do the watch along. And two, yeah, it doesn't really... I would get more value watching it from home. And I'd still probably have my phone out watching the data and so forth if I was trackside. Who's my favourite driver in the early 2000s? When did Hakkinen retire? But Hakkinen is like my all-time favourite driver. Full display and powertrains next year for Red Bull. Do I think this would be better than Honda like it is this year? No, I don't think. I think sticking with Honda would have been would be better for them. But we'll see. No one knows. People wrote Red Bull off for this regulation set as well. Many thought that there would be... Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness. Yuki Tsunoda dawdling on the racing line. Lando just nearly went straight into the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki apologises and... Oh, my goodness. What a story that would have been. Lando coming around turn 15... No, sorry, coming round turn 11, and Yuki's on the racing line, and Lando nearly goes right into the back of him and has to take massive avoiding action. Oh my goodness, there you go. Incident involving Yuki and Norris noted. I don't see how that's not a penalty. That was ridiculous from Yuki. Sorry for scaring you all there, but that was crazy. For the middle of an FP3 session, what was Yuki Tsunoda doing? Were Red Bull... I'm putting it out there. Were Red Bull intentionally trying to scare Lando, offset Lando? Conspiracy theories. No, I doubt it. But my goodness. Yuki practicing for tomorrow, yeah. Whew. Jesus. Mika, when he crashed at Australia, was lucky to survive, yeah. Kimi took Mika's seat in 2002. So, yeah, that period of Mika Hakkinen was my favourite. So, Lewis Hamilton up there, by the way. But Max is going fastest. He's got a couple of more corners to contend with. Does have Ollie Behrman ahead of him, though. Hamilton's first win at the last race. No. Let's be real. No. Why is Hamilton cooking, though? Because no one else has decided to cook. Look, Lance Stroll has just gone... There you go. Lance Stroll is already nearly 2 attempts quicker than Lewis Hamilton there. So there goes is your Lewis cooking question. Red Bull playing games, no doubt. They're not the cleanest racers. I mean, I haven't heard any radio messages, but I mean, surely they would have known Lando was on his way. But that's being investigated for impeding. I don't see how that's not impeding. He was literally just dawdling on the racing line. And now Yuki's chucked in a purple middle sector. So. Kimi Räikkönen, when he first came into F1, was it was very exciting. Can I give an insight on the lap time required for pole today? I can indeed. So, you guys will There's some guy... Right, so go on, guys. Tell me what was pole position last year, please. You do it a lot quicker than I do in searching F1. I know someone's already got it memorised what pole position was last year. $122 something. What was it exact? If I get a chance to walk around Monaco on the Friday bank holiday and have a few drinks on the circuit at Rasgas, walk down the start-finish straight drunk with my friend arm in arm. I'd like to go Monaco one year, yeah, as well. Bit expensive, though, isn't it? A bit pricey. 122.6, 122.559. Okay, cool. So, on average, this year, the cars have been a second quicker, and I expect that to be the case here as well in Abu Dhabi. So if it was a 22.595 last year, I expect it to be sub 22. I think qualifying this year for pole, will it be quicker than that? I mean, what's the quickest session? What's the quickest time we saw yesterday in FP2? What was the fastest time in FP2 yesterday? The best pole position in 2021 was 122.1. It was a 123 yesterday. So yeah, it's going to be a sub 22 is pole position tomorrow. 23.058. Okay, so yeah, and they never set. So they're 4 tenths off already in FP2 from pole position of last year. That 22-second mark is going to be smashed. I suspect probably a 21.5. I reckon a 21.5. I reckon they've still got, yeah, like a full second and a half in them. Definitely. Maybe a 21.6, 21.7. We'll get a good indication of what they can do after the end of Q1. You cycle around Monaco just a week before the race. Cool. The impeding, by the way, of Yuki Tsunoda on Lando Norris will be investigated after the session. So, is there a risk of rain in Abu Dhabi today? No, not over the race circuit. I did have a look at this yesterday because I saw some radar images yesterday floating about, but no, we're okay. But welcome everyone. If you're just tuning in for this Saturday, hope you are well. Hope you are ready for what is going to be, hopefully, a very, very interesting end to this season. 24 race weekends. How have we got to this point? It feels like only yesterday that we were starting the season in Australia at silly o'clock in the morning for myself. But welcome. Hope you are well. 30 minutes remaining of this FP3 session. We are halfway through. Hit that like and subscribe button. Trying to hit 70,000. It'd be amazing if we could achieve that today. I do expect qualifying is going to be quite high viewership this afternoon because it is arguably the most important qualifying session of the year, and we know how tight qualifying has been this season. Max Verstappen is your fastest in FP3 at 24.2 right now. Lance Stroll, yes, Lance Stroll was P2. Ollie Behrman, by the way, I think Ollie Behrman could get a top 5 here this weekend. He is very, very happy with the setup of that car. He said yesterday, I'm paraphrasing here, but wow, what have you guys done to this car? It is amazing. So he is over the moon with how that Haas is at the moment, much more so than his teammate, although his teammate has only done a lap on medium tyres. Ferrari at P4 and P5. Lando Norris is P6, but he's doing a long run on a set of softs. We'll just come to the end. Oh, we have a yellow. Why is there a yellow in the last corner? There's a yellow in the last corner. What's happened here? No one's off. Oh, we have a red flag. We have a red flag. What has happened here? Is there debris out on circuit? What has happened here? Interesting. Not entirely sure what's happened. Oh, Lewis has stopped. Oh, he's in the wall! Lewis, no! No! Oh, he's gone straight on at turn 9 in the wall. Lewis Hamilton's first season in Ferrari is going from bad to worst. What, is that brake failure? I can only see that being brake failure because that is very odd for Lewis to go straight on at turn 9. That's not a sort of corner you make that mistake. He didn't go into a spin. He literally just went straight on. I think there's been a brake failure for the Ferrari there. Where's my headset? Just watching the replay. He's got DRS open. No, he did go into a spin. So as he was braking into the corner and just going round turn 9. Mate, that Ferrari is absolute dog. I'm sorry. There's no way that any of those drivers out on the track right now should go into a spin like that. Oh, or did he go into it a bit too quick? Maybe he went into it a bit too quick, actually. I'll take back what I said. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, something buckled at the front end and snapped the rear. That's just typical of Ferrari, by the way. That is just typical of that Ferrari. But no, I actually stand by what I said. That is, he's on a set of softs, only 7 laps old. That no F1 car, not even an Alpine, should be reacting like that at the apex of turn 9. Like, that is... We've already seen Charles Leclerc lose the rear yesterday into turn 5. That is... Oh, God, that's an image. Lewis literally picks up the front wing of his Ferrari and puts it in the cockpit of his car. What a season. What a season at Ferrari. Ferrari is the F1 version of Spursy. Yeah. Yes. Oh, God. See what happens when I don't have the shirt on. I'm going to have to get the shirt out, aren't I? I'll put it on for qualifying. Need to give him some... I need to give Ferrari some hope. I think it's a good luck charm now, the shirt. Piastri is off the pace, it would seem. I have a feeling it would be Max and Lando fighting it out with possible incident at the first corner. Realistically, Max and Lando could hand the title to Max. Piastri does seem like he's a bit off the pace, yes. He did miss FP1, of course. But I do expect him still to pick it up when it comes to qualifying. So, more like West Hammy. Could he have not waited until the final Sunday with that? I know. But that Ferrari just, yeah, Charles did something similar breaking into turn 5 as well yesterday. He went round on himself. So the rear of that Ferrari is definitely not in good shape. But it was odd. Yeah, it was just an odd one. I thought it was brake failure initially because he's literally gone, like, he's gone straight in to the barrier, like front in, nose in. But no, he did actually go into a spin. But he's into the apex of turn 9. It's a fast corner anyway. And then the rear comes round on itself. So, $16 million tractor, yeah. To be fair, after seeing how Ferrari build their road cars, I kind of get why their race cars are bad sometimes. This isn't quality pace, so we'll have to see about Oscar. Yeah, I don't... Oscar's still built... I mean, the timer is running down at the moment. We haven't actually got a green flag for the session to get back underway yet. So that's why no one is back out on circuit. But, yeah. Why are so many people hating on Lando, even after knowing that he is not the one who is controlling Piastri and McLaren? Why can't they hate Zach if they want to free Piastri? I don't think... Look, as I said, I feel like Lando gets a lot of unnecessary hate. You can have disagreements with what he said in the past, but we've all said stupid stuff in the past, haven't we? You gain more experience as you get older. Generally, you get wiser as you get older. Not everyone, of course. But I feel like, look, at the end of the day, Piastri should have... He had enough of an advantage to see this championship out after Zandvoort. And in my personal opinion, I think Piastri is only in the position he is now because of himself, not because of McLaren. So, he got a puncture on the front right. What, Lewis? Did he really? Where are they saying that? That's not why I mean, my TV coverage is on an advert at the moment, so that doesn't help. But let me see. He said it buckled. It was very odd for the car to do that mid-corner. So a team can change a car setting to make one slower and one faster. Anyone explain? Technically, yeah. I mean, technically speaking, I mean you've got all different engine modes and things like this. So we've got to remember that really, there's no. Theoretically speaking, there is not at any other than the first race. There is not at any point throughout the season where the cars are 100% equal. Now, the reason why I say that is because engines, when you're getting down to the finer details, some engines will, even though it's the same Mercedes power unit, it doesn't necessarily mean that engine may. So that engine after one race may have. Let's say they start at 1,000 horsepower, right, of usage. After one race, Oscar Piastri may have 950 remaining after the first race, and Lando may have used more usage of that engine because of just driving styles and whatever. Hang on. Just watching the replay of Lewis now. What did George say? George, oi! I was just opening the radio about setup and just saw the crash. Ferrari's very twitchy car, the limit on the knife, and Lewis can't trust it and destroys his confidence in the car. Yeah. I mean, plus with these regulations as well. Hang on, so just watching the analysis here. So a bit of dirty air from the car ahead, supposedly. Hey Connor, the bottom of these cars are so daft. I know. So they reckon that him going over the curb might have caused an issue. Was I once a commentator in F1? No, never been in a commentator in F1. So, is it because... So, Lewis bottomed the car out by going over the curb, chucked the car into the corner, and the rear went round on itself because it was bumping. Bouncing up and down. That's supposedly... odd. So the car sparks, so it bottoms out. The car bottoms out. So he's covered a bit too much curb on the outside. The car starts to bottom out as it's going into the apex, as it's going into the corner, and that's where the rear loses stability. There you go. So covered too much curb on the outside, so it's driver error. It's driver error combined with the setup of the car. Because Charles also does the same. So basically the analysis is Lewis to run a bit more curb on the outside on the entry into turn 9. He's got a little bit of dirty air from the car ahead, only a little bit though. And the car, because he runs wide on that curb on the outside, because there's like a dip in the middle, the ride height lowers, scuffs on the ground, starts to porpoise, lose stability as it goes into the corner, and that loses the rear stability of the car, also with the poor balance of the Ferrari. So, yeah, driver error, probably. More driver error combined with a car that shouldn't be losing stability with that. But there you go. So, can I drop the link so you can see it? I'll see if I can find it. You probably find it on Twitter, to be fair, though. I'll see if I can pin the message. But we do have a time of resumption in this session. It will be getting underway at 13 minutes past, which is now less than 2 minutes' time, guys. Less than 2 minutes' time. I'm from the UK. You was waiting for me to say driver error. I am so typical. Kimmy has been going that wild in the Merc all day. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a combination of the two. It's a combination of the two, knowing what the car can and can't do. So you have to apportion blame to Lewis because he has covered more curb there. And that's ultimately what's caused the car to, because of his action, to cause the car to pulpus, hit the ground. If he should know not to do that because of the way the car is set up. But also, we know that Ferrari is very difficult to drive at the moment and should arguably be able to deal with that a lot more than that. So, but Lewis will be fine for quali. Lewis is wash. No, I disagree. I'm not going to go over old ground as to why I don't think he's wash. Right, where is it? Let's see if I can find it. Oh, what's this? I can't find it at the moment. Green light, pit exit open. We have 17 minutes of this FP3 session to go. I can't find the link. Sorry, guys. Oh, Albon noted for unsafe release there. It's the bloody car. It's a bit of both, Lily. It's a bit of both. I'm going to disagree. He's covered more curb there than any other driver has through there, from what I've seen anyway. It's a bit of both. If you give Lewis a good car, he'll win races. Yeah, that's what I think. I think if you look at the few times that he's had a good car this year, he will. He's won races, so. How bad is the car stuff? It's bad. It's bad. You don't agree with Ant's judgment of the curb usage there, to be honest. Lewis used it all session with no issues. He probably just took more speed and pulpused. No, I actually agree with the assessment, Connor. I'm going to disagree with you there. You can clearly see the sparking of the car. You can see where he's at there. And you can see that the car does start to spark. And then it grounds out all the way through into it. It may be, I mean, you need to have a look at different comparison laps to see where he actually gets onto the curb. Did he get onto the curb sooner there than he normally does? Does he normally get on there later? It's difficult to say, but I think the analysis was correct there, that he definitely did have the porpoise in. The grounding out, you can see, but it's caused ultimately first as soon as he gets on the curb. And then that's what's caused is the rear instability. It did look quick in there. I agree it was probably a bit quicker than normal as well. But combined with the porpoising that he had, or the grounding out, that's caused the rear instability. Yeah, but it's by all though, isn't it? If he didn't ground, if he was not as unsettled on entry, he probably wouldn't have had that rear instability, would he? He probably would have gone. He probably just wouldn't have been able to hold the apex, but probably had some understeer through there, rather than the rear actually going round on himself. So it's a combination of driver, balance of the car, and speed, which is driver in itself, isn't it? So Lando's going to win the title. It's inevitable. He's going to win the GP in dominant style. Maybe. Well, we've got qualifying this afternoon to find out, haven't we? Yeah, but it can spark, but then the angle at which he's going, the load there, and this is what I'm saying. Obviously, where the decision to go on the curbing would be his decision to. That's not necessarily the car's issue to take that line of entry, is it? So every team went for pit, but only McLaren stayed out. What a fantastic pit stop drive! Oh, what for last week in Qatar? Yeah, that did provide us some intrigue, didn't it? But only 13.5 minutes remaining of this session, guys. So drivers out there, some of them are on new softs. We've got Piastri on a new set of softs, Norris on a new set of softs, and Stroll on a new set of softs. That's interesting. Lewis crashed, but I am not disagreeing though that the car is in good shape. By the way, I'm not. That car is dog. Because I still think that car should be able to do what Lewis did there and not losing stability as it did. But hey-ho. Oh, we have another yellow. We have another yellow through turn 1. Did Albon run wide there? Why is there a yellow through turn 1? Did Albon run wide? Albon's going slow. Albon okay? He had engine issues yesterday. Waiting to see exactly what happened here. McLaren haven't done any medium running. I think they did medium running yesterday. I think. Yet to see where this yellow is. I think it is just Albon who ran wide through turn 1. Do I enjoy Drive to Survive? I do. I don't enjoy it as much as I do from the first 2 seasons. I think the format of the first 2 seasons was the best, as it was a proper indication of kind of like behind the scenes. Whereas now it's a bit too dramatised. I'd have dialed it back a bit from the mid-seasons that they had. I still enjoy it for seeing the little nuggets of behind the scenes that we don't get to see in a normal season. So, let's keep an eye on Oscar Piastri, shall we? Because he's going fast. He's gone fastest in that first sector. Let's see how he fares in the middle and last sectors. Now, the middle sector, anyone who's been paying attention this weekend, the middle sector in particular is where the McLaren has been weakest. It's still been strong, but it's been weakest compared to, say, the Red Bull. But the first and last sector in particular, the last sector is where the McLaren really comes into its own. And Oscar has just gone fastest in that middle sector. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, though, including his teammate, Gasly. I think our Carlos Sainz there. So this won't be the fastest last sector that we've seen maybe today. We did see a sub 30 seconds yesterday in that last sector. But I don't think we're going to see that right now as he's having to make his way past Pierre Gasly. Or Gasly's into the pit lane. He would have suffered in that last sector. But it's still fastest for Oscar Piastri with a 23.593. Considerably quicker than we saw. This is it. Considerably quicker than yesterday. Considerably slower than what we saw yesterday in FP2. But this isn't a representative session because it is earlier on in the day. So temperatures are different. Grip levels are different. But fastest for Oscar Piastri. Half a second up. You would say this session's the best the Ferrari has looked in ages. Lewis was hustling happy on the radio. Till he crashed. But yeah, no, it's... Look, Ferrari... It couldn't get much worse in Sector 3, could it, Connor? Let's be real. I'm not very positive about Ferrari in general. I don't think they're going to play any I don't think they're going to play any role in this weekend. You shouldn't get oversteer on that corner or understeer. Yes, it's scary. Yeah, but that's obviously with you saw obviously the rear was starting to go on him. So, but look, doesn't matter really. Ultimately, who you think whose fault it is, he's ended up in the barrier. So, not good, not good. But it is FP3. That car will be able to be fixed. There wasn't too much damage, I think, done to the car. It was more so just like the front wing. The front right suspension was broken, but that's something that they can replace. For qualifying this afternoon. So he'll be there. What is Lance Stroll trying to do on top? He's up there, but he's still 7-8 tenths off. Drive to Survive got found out trying to create drama, putting audio in places it was never meant to be making out. Yeah, they still do that with like one thing that really bugs me with Drive to Survive is where they put downshifts in the wrong place. They can't sync up the audio correctly. Like you hear, like they're in gear 6 and they upshift or they downshift, and you're like, oh, this audio just does not match up with the speed, like with where they are on the track, and it really just takes you out of what you're watching. I think even people who don't even follow F1 but know something about cars would know, that's a bit off. But Nico Hülkenberg up to P3. Stake F1 cars look good here. This is their last race where they'll be known as Stake F1 before they then take on the Audi name. Stake F1 no longer. It is Audi. Audi F1. So that's going to be interesting. What are they going to be able to bring to the table next year? Sector timings. I'll bring you the sector timings because you are so nicely. So we have 8.5 minutes remaining. And this is the sector time. As you can see, Piastri fastest at the top. Hulkenberg just went fastest in the second. Norris fastest in sector 3 at 29.9. Oh, Kimi Antonelli has hit Yuki Tsunoda in the pit lane. Lots of debris in the pit lane that the marshals are having to clear up. Oh, dear. Debris in the pit lane from Kimi Antonelli hitting Yuki Tsunoda. I'm not sure whose fault that is. Bortoletto's going quickly. Alonso's just gone fastest in the first sector. What about Cadillac? I'm not so sure about Cadillac next year. Finishing not dead last will be positive for them. F1 movie was poor. I still haven't watched the F1 movie, you know. I'm going to watch it in the off-season. Max is on a fresh set of softs as well. So, getting dialed in now, these guys. They're all on fresh softs, so here we go. Some push laps here. Still not going to be fully representative, guys, of what we will see later on this afternoon with qualifying. I haven't. No, I still haven't. YouTube sent you a yearly review. You've watched 45 of my videos this year. Oh, brilliant. Why is it not higher? I've done way more than 45 videos this year. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you, guys. Yeah, if I appeared on your recap, by the way, thank you. Much appreciated for your support. Alonso up to P4. Behrman's fastest in the middle sector. Behrman's going quite nicely. Ocon's just gone fastest in the middle sector. Oof. Push laps here, guys. Push laps. Charles Leclerc is 2 tenths slower. I don't know if he caught traffic, but 2 tenths slower than Alonso in that first sector. 36.2 in the middle. This is not a good lap from Charles, by the way. Ollie Behrman goes third. Oscar Piastri had gone second. Max Verstappen starting the lap. Let's keep an eye on Maxi boy. Ocon goes third there. There we go. Pips his teammate. Finally gets ahead of his teammate this weekend. So Max making his way through turn 2 and turn 3. Over the crest there. Down into the hard braking zone of turn 5. Where that change was made to this circuit. The chicane removed to the layout. It's still there, the chicane, but has been removed, and now it's just a straight section into turn 5. So 17 flat for Verstappen in the first sector. That's, I mean, there's 6 drivers all within just a couple of hundredths of a second from each other. Georgie boy with a nice middle sector there, by the way. 36 flat for George. Could he play a factor? Could he play a role in this championship battle here this weekend? Max Verstappen is definitely hoping so, because he needs Lando to finish off of the podium at minimum. Oh, Yuki was watching the replay. Oh my God. Kimi Antonelli was just released straight into the side of Yuki Tsunoda. Lots of damage there. George Russell, 4 thousandths of a second quicker than Lando. Verstappen, 36.1 in the middle sector. So not too shabby. Not quickest, though. But how's his last sector? Ooh, only P3 for Max. That wouldn't be good enough if it was qualifying tomorrow. For some reason, they think you're a podcast channel, even though you really aren't. You got first in the podcast. Really? That's odd. At least I was first at something. Bottas and Perez are great development drivers. They should give great feedback. Yeah, I think it's a smart decision to have Bottas and Perez in your first season or first couple of seasons as a new team. They're not an already established team. So in a few years' time, yes, I think the standard, the approach of having a more experienced driver and having maybe a more junior driver will be beneficial to them, but they need to get used to. They've got 2 experienced drivers who know how F1 operates. They can go out there. They're smart when it comes to their driving and give decent feedback and build that team and move them in the right direction. So yeah, it's smart from them, and that's why I think it'll be a massive positive for Cadillac if they don't finish dead last next year. So I think if you go onto like your profile on the YouTube app, like you click like the circle button and you go onto like your own profile, it comes up with YouTube recap. Or if you go onto like YouTube Shorts or something, it will come up. Something like that. Who do I think will do better next year, Bottas or Perez? I think Bottas will do better than Perez. I think Bottas is always Bottas has always been a better driver than Perez. Second in the most viewed sports channel. Great. Who's number one? F1? Has there been a poll with no purple sectors? There has been in the past, yeah. The one that recently comes to my mind where it was green sectors only, was George Russell last year. Got pole in Hungary. I think it was last year. No. Or the year before. When he was, yeah. I think it was the year before. And he got no purple sectors, green everywhere. And he was on pole position. And it caught everyone by surprise, myself included, so. Sky Sport, oh, all those, yeah. That's fair enough. If I'm second to Sky Sports, I appreciate that. That's fine. I'll accept that. 122 will be the time to beat in Abu Dhabi qualifying. Yeah, I think we're going to see below the 122. Look, this session is not representative. It's like late afternoon for them. So the track temperature is a lot hotter. 36.5 degrees right now. It's going to get cooler. Max is reporting the problem is the car still jumps. I can't keep my feet on the pedals. Oh my goodness. Now that is a very, very big issue for Max Verstappen. He cannot keep his feet on the pedals because the car is porpoising so much. Whoa. That is crazy. No wonder he lost time in his fast lap there. Tends to happen at tracks with a mix of different corners like China. Yeah, that's true. That's true, James. Good to see you, by the way, mate. What do I think about Racing Bull's new driver, Arvid Lindblad? I think there's a lot to be excited about with him. He's the youngest F2 winner. He's the youngest F3 ever winner. But he's also had some very big rookie mistakes in F2 this year. So I could see why if they wanted to keep him in F2 for another year. But supposedly they really rate him highly. And they want to get him into F1 as soon as possible. And I have seen some people say it's too soon for him. Look, many people thought it was too soon for Kimi Antonelli this year. And look how well he's doing now. Kind of a 3/3 of a season for him. His season could be split into like different thirds, can't it? The first third was good. Second third was not so good, the middle of the season. And the last part of this season has been very good for him. So 70k. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. 70k tomorrow, most definitely, I reckon. So thank you, everyone who is tuning in. Over to 2,000 viewers right now. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Much appreciated. And hit that like button as well. Let's get your stream to 1,000 likes. Go on, you can do it. We're at 400. Hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up. You can do it. There's over 2,000 of you here. You only found my channel 3 or 4 races ago. Commentary. All from Sev. Much appreciated, Bob. Good to see you. Welcome for coming back. Verstappen slowed a lot. Yeah, he slowed because he was prepping another lap and he had to let some traffic through. So, yeah, I appreciate all the new viewers and I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who is new, who has been here a long time. Look, we're all here for the same reason, to enjoy F1. And that's what I try and provide with you. And I hope that comes across in my commentary and obviously my opinions and stuff. I've said before, you don't have to agree with my opinions. We can have a respectful disagreement, of course. We had a respectful disagreement earlier with the crash over Lewis Hamilton. But I'll always give my logic and reasoning behind it. I'm not just going to be bogged down in emotion and be like many of those people on social media. And that's what we try and do here. And I think try and make us overall more well-rounded and informed motorsport fans, F1 fans. And I think we've achieved that here, guys. If you're good enough... If you're good enough, you're old enough. Exactly. Yeah, having a feeling we could get some insane viewing numbers this weekend. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Look, I'll be happy with just the viewership we've been consistently getting this year. So anything else is a bonus. 70k subscribers tomorrow. Even today, maybe. Maybe qualifying will be like that this afternoon. I don't know. But yeah, that's my goal. End this season on 70,000 subscribers. And yeah, we're pushing our way to 100k and getting that silver plaque, which will be right up here. So. But there we go. That is it. The end of FP3. And George Russell tops the timing screens. Ooh. Good George. Has Mercedes and Georgie boy found found some pace overnight. But if you're a Max Verstappen fan, concerns. Yes, concerns for Max Verstappen. He cannot keep his feet on the pedals as he is complaining about the car bouncing so much. That is not good. That's not good. That's essential if you're a racing driver. You need those feet to be staying on the pedals. So, what happened to Lewis? He crashed. So, what's been the highest viewers for a stream? Last week, we had 40,000 viewers. So what did someone ask? I saw a question. Max's car is bouncing. Yes, it is indeed. What was... There was a question. Sorry, there was something I saw, but I missed. Don't know. It's gone. It's gone. But yeah, so not what Max needs. Max needs, of course, a win tomorrow. But could George Russell play a role here later on? We're still somewhere... Well, obviously this session is a lot hotter. It's going to be probably down in the 20s, the track temperature, in a few hours' time when we have qualifying. So, yeah. Definitely gonna change. But George Russell maybe found some pace there at the end of this session. Watching Max's lap around the last corner was ridiculous. I didn't see the footage. I missed it. But, yeah, there's been lots of sparks from a lot of cars, to be fair. Especially over the curbs. That last corner, there's a lot of curb strikes there. Cars are definitely grounding out through there. Yeah, the FP2 time was quicker, but that's because it was an evening session. So you have to look. You can't directly compare lap times because this isn't equal in measure in relation to the conditions of FP2. So this is more like FP1, and these times are quicker than what we saw in FP1. I wonder how much the marketability of Lindblad influenced the decision. He's part British and part Indian. I mean, look, that always probably plays a factor, but I have heard for quite some time, even before he was in F3, that I've heard the name Arvid Lindblad, just through not me directly, but from people that I know who work in motorsport, who cover Junior Formula Series. They've heard about this kid for a while, and they've heard that Red Bull rate him as highly as Max Verstappen. That's the quotes that I've heard come out about Arvid Lindblad, and that's why he has been pushed into F1 as early as he is now. And yes, like Kimi, probably could do with another year in F2, but the start of a new regulation set, a new management now, and they probably think we can now start to develop Arvid Lindblad. He can stay in F1 for like you can stay in that team maybe 3 years or whatever. They've got some good youngsters coming through. Don't rush him. Build his development. They don't know obviously what's going to happen with Max Verstappen as well. And this is a thing that may have brought Arvid Lindblad even in sooner than maybe holding for another year, because they don't know if Max is going to stay. There's a risk, of course, that Max still leaves at the end of 2026, and they need to be looking to the future. So they need to start utilising that second Red Bull team as what it was initially bought for, as a proving ground for junior drivers in their academy, in their system. So, yeah, start of a new regulation set. It's a good time to do that, really. FP1 and 3 are for data collection. FP2 was the closest to quali conditions. Yeah, that's normally where you really need to take a look at the pace. But of course, it's all about like rhythm and so forth as well. If you're in a good place in FP3, then you should be in a good place for qualifying and the race on Sunday. So, thoughts on Leclerc touching the trophy? I mean, he's got to take any opportunity he can to touch that trophy, because he doesn't know if he's ever going to get an opportunity to pick and hold that trophy up above his head, because is it ever going to happen in a Ferrari? The Papaya rules made you unsubscribe to the McLaren channel. I think Arvid should stay one more year in F2 because, like, his mistakes in F2 were not good. No, I agree. I can see the argument for both, to be fair. But there's also been a lot of highs for Arvid this year, and a lot of impressive performances from him, which clearly outweigh the mistakes that he's made. So, yeah. George Russell will be on pole and wins the race on Sunday. Oh, I mean, he could do. He could do. Lando only needs a podium. And if Russell does win the race, that's a good thing for Lando, really, because it's not Oscar or Verstappen who's winning the race. And it makes Norris's chances of winning this championship a lot, I say simpler. The simplest thing is for him to win on the podium. But let's have a quick look at, where was it? Before we go, one more time. You can see here, these are the permutations. And, well, if Max was to finish P2, then Lando only needs to finish P4, P5, P6, or P7 to win the championship. If Oscar wins, if Oscar doesn't win, then, or Oscar finishes P2, then he only needs to finish P6, P7, P8, or P9. So, yeah. If realistically Max or Oscar want to win the championship, they have to win the race. They have to win it. They can't finish second or third. Are Red Bull allowed to change the setup now between free practice and quali? Yes, they're only locked in from quali. So, do I think Leclerc may generally move to Aston Martin in 2027 if the 2026 doesn't end well? I think he would be... It depends on how Aston Martin are. So I think if Aston Martin are only slightly better than Ferrari, and Ferrari start off poorly, no, I don't think moving to Aston Martin, there's nothing there to indicate that Ferrari wouldn't be able to be better than Aston Martin. I think the only way is if Aston Martin are challenging for the title. But then, of course, if Red Bull aren't challenging for the title, Max Verstappen is going to be knocking on the door of whoever is like the dominant team at the end of 2026. So, but I don't think it's going to be as simple next year as one team dominates. I really don't. I think next year we are going to see... I think we're going to see periods of domination. And not because of just specific race circuits, but I think there's going to be quite dramatic changes throughout the year to the regulations. We've got an increase in the cost cap next year as well, supposedly for inflationary reasons. But I think also because they're expecting this regulation, there's going to be a lot of rules changes next year. And I think the cars could look quite drastically different from the start of the year to the end of the year. And that's going to mean that the team who dominates, maybe, if there is a team that dominates, let's say a team dominates in the opening stages of the season, might not dominate in the mid part of the season or even towards the end of the season because of these changes. So I think it's a season that is really going to ebb and flow next year and it's going to be very topsy-turvy. So it's definitely one to tune in for. Audi is tempting big Volkswagen money and Porsche hybrid technology experience that is shared about it. Yeah, look, it's there's a lot of drivers next year. We'll have a look. It's something to do in the off-season, I think. Maybe it's a video. We'll have a look in the off-season at the contracts, and there's a lot of drivers who have their contracts ending in 2026 because they want to position themselves for whoever is going to be quickest or whoever looks more feasible to be with in the coming regulations. So they don't want to be tied down to a team that starts off on the back foot. Ferrari has made it impossible for themselves to be the fastest team. At least the only thing holding other teams back is only one extremely talented person to join their team and build a great car. I mean, it's just an operational perspective overall, isn't it, of Ferrari? But it's clearly being, with Lewis's joining, I mean, we knew it anyway, but it's being exposed even more with Lewis joining Ferrari this year. So, what happens if Norris doesn't get pole? Then there's still a whole race ahead of us. 57 laps tomorrow, is it? Something like that? No, not 57 laps. How many laps is it tomorrow? I can't remember, but yeah. Over 50 laps tomorrow for him to still finish on the podium. What's my opinions on World Drivers' Championship, Max? Max needs assistance. It's definitely in Lando's control. I think Lando will get it done. That's my personal opinion. Analysis. He's been quick all weekend. He's going to be quick tomorrow, but never say never. This is a strange season. So we never thought the championship would even be here right now in Abu Dhabi. So, Jarvis, thank you for the 10 gifted. Much appreciated. Coming in clutch at the end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And well, I think on that high note, if you was fortunate enough to receive a gifted there from Jarvis, give him a W in the chat. But yes, I'm going to leave it there on that high note. We'll be back in a few hours' time. I'm going to go have some lunch. I'm going to go live at 1, probably just after 1. I'll probably go, yeah, I might go live at 1. I need to go grab some lunch and everything. So it's going to send you straight to the live stream now for Quali. So head on, you don't have to do anything right now, guys. Thank you as always. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Thank you, Jarvis, for those 10 gifted. And we'll see you for our last qualifying session of 2025. Who's going to end up on pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here? Will it be one of our title contenders? Will it be a surprise in George Russell? There is a poll for pole position already set up over there. Go get your votes in, and we'll see you in a few hours. See you then. Bye.